She paused in the doorway with her tote half open and told me she was crashing at Jenna's with the girls there. "We need to really talk for once," she said, fishing for her phone. "No husbands, no plans, just one night to vent." "You're okay, right?" "First time for everything," I said, leaning on the fridge. She stood in the doorway, half-zipped tote bag in hand, telling me she was off to a girls' night. I joked about communal toothbrushes, but a cold dread hit me right then, telling me this wasn't just a simple night out. This was a turning point. The air in our kitchen suddenly felt heavy, charged with something I couldn't quite name, but I knew it spelled trouble. Our life together, the one we'd built for almost a decade, felt like it was shifting underfoot. She mumbled something about wanting to actually talk for once, no husbands, no schedules, just a night to vent. Then, almost as an afterthought, she asked, "You're fine, right?" "First time for everything," I tried to joke, leaning back against the fridge. "Want me to pack you a toothbrush, or are you going full rebel with a communal one?" She just rolled her eyes, cutting me off. "Ethan, I'm serious. It's been a week. I need this." "And then, take the car." "I'll just Uber to the shop tomorrow," I offered. Her brow flicked. "No, I'll get a ride. We'll share a taxi. Safer if we split it." I just shrugged. "Do what you want. Lock up when you leave." If I'd known where that sentence was headed, I would have kept the car keys in my pocket and called it a night. 9 years we'd been married. I ran a small home renovation crew, and she worked marketing for a local clinic. We were that couple, the practical ones. The ones everyone asked to host barbecues because we had enough folding chairs and, crucially, we didn't fight in front of kids. But lately, she'd been late from work, out with Chloe and Maya more often. I wasn't clocking her every move, but patterns have a way of piling up, don't they? When someone stops laughing at your jokes and starts timing their sighs, you definitely notice. I stacked the dishwasher and watched the porch light cut a triangle on the driveway. She left a minute later, her perfume hanging in the entry like she expected applause. The next morning, I brewed coffee early and texted her. "You alive?" 10 minutes later, she replied, "Coffee at Chloe's, heading to work from here." "You good, Peachy?" I wrote back, "Save me a crumb from your deep emotional growth." She sent a laughing emoji. It felt like a receipt. The first real crack wasn't a scream, just the way she started talking to me like I was part of the furniture. A week after that girls' night, she came home at 10 p.m., shoes in hand, and tossed a "don't wait up next time" over her shoulder like we'd rehearsed it. I was on the couch, going over estimates for a kitchen remodel. "You missed dinner," I told her. "I grabbed a salad," she said, already walking down the hall. "What about tomorrow? We said we'd go to Caleb's thing, right?" Her tone was flat. "I might be slammed. We'll see." "Translate 'we'll see' for me," I said, closing the laptop. "It means we'll see, Ethan." She raised one eyebrow, like I was a particularly slow student. "Don't be intense." "Not being intense," I replied. "I'm being married." She shrugged. "Then be flexible." I watched her disappear into the bedroom. The word flexible sat on my tongue like a dare. 2 days later, I took initiative. I changed the dinner plan without consulting her. When she texted late afternoon, running behind, "Don't wait," I replied, "No problem." Push dance party, booked a table at Hank's for Friday. We'll do an early night. No phones. She sent a thumbs up, then 5 minutes later, a question mark. Then that's sweet. I'll try to make it. You'll try? I muttered, setting a new rule in my head. I wasn't chasing. If she wanted in, she could make a door. Friday came. She showed up 20 minutes late to the restaurant, hair perfect, smile switched on like a stage light. She dropped into the booth and kissed my cheek. "Traffic was awful," she said, handing the hostess her coat. Traffic doesn't apply inside a bar, I cut in, but okay. She glanced at the menu, didn't answer. A couple at the next table laughed too loud. Silverware clinked. She asked the server for a sparkling water and scanned her phone under the table. Put it away, I told her. She stiffened. I'm checking something for tomorrow. Tomorrow can wait an hour, I said. No phones. New house rule. She slid the phone into her purse. I'm not a child. Good, I said. Then the rule fits. That earned me a thin smile. We ordered. She brought up surface topics, paint colors, a show her team was promoting, a funny thing a nurse said at the clinic. She avoided anything that felt like us. I tested her with something small. Your sister Scarlett called me about Thanksgiving. Said she wanted to coordinate. She called you? The smile cracked. She had a question about the smoker, I went on. Asked if I could host again. I said we'd think about it. Don't commit to things for me, she said. I didn't, I answered. I told her you'd get back to her, which you haven't, by the way. She spread a napkin on her lap. I will. Calm down. I'm calm, I said. Just noticing. She exhaled through her nose. Notice quietly. The server arrived with a tray, and the conversation moved to other people's lives. We finished and walked to the car. On the drive home, she stared out the window like the town offended her. You look like you're studying a crime scene, I said. I'm tired, she replied. That's been your headline for a month, I said. You want me to stop planning anything after 6? Say it. I want you to understand that my job isn't 9 to 5, she shot back. I understand plenty, I said. What I don't get is the attitude. If you need space, use your words. Her jaw shifted. You're smothering. I took you to dinner, I said. If that's smothering, the bar is low. Maybe the bar needs to be low to reach you, she said, almost playful, then shut her mouth like she'd gone too far. There it is, I said lightly. The mystery solved. I'm the problem. I didn't say that. You meant it. She folded into silence for the rest of the ride. When we got home, she grabbed her laptop and went to the guest room with a wave. I need to finish a deck. Finish your deck, I replied. I stayed in the kitchen and set another rule without announcing it. No more waiting with warm food. I'd cook what I ate, and she could forage like a raccoon at midnight. Sunday, she brought a new tone, teasing with an edge, like pulling threads. We were at our friends Caleb and Olivia's backyard, where folding chairs and paper plates formed an ecosystem. I'd made potato salad. She arrived an hour late and clinked a bottle of seltzer with Olivia. Working woman problems, she said, like a punchline. Some of us aren't home by 4. Caleb looked at me, then away. He's a dry guy. He hates being in the middle. Olivia hugged her, asked about the clinic. My wife launched into a story about a project lead who couldn't format a spreadsheet and threw in, Ethan thinks spreadsheets reproduce on their own. I smiled. I also think clocks work. She set herself down. Here we go. No, genuinely, I said, I'm impressed you can be late to a party that started whenever. A couple neighbors smirked. That kind of thing is fertilizer for a marriage if you don't deal with it. I turned the conversation out of the ditch. Caleb, your fence looks good. Those posts finally straightened. He grunted. Thanks. Might need you to look at the deck, though. Swing by the shop Monday. I said, I'll put you on the calendar. My wife laughed to Olivia. He's always scheduling, even leisure. She glanced at me to see if I'd bite. I didn't, but I logged it. The public poke. Small but deliberate. When we got home, I moved the joint account's automatic transfers. I didn't drain anything. I'm not petty. I just split savings into 2 buckets. One with my name only. It was practical, clean, invisible. I also changed the door code on the garage to a time-restricted setting. After midnight, it pings my phone, not to spy, to know. Monday morning, I told my foreman, Noah, to take point on the Detroit job. I'll be in and out this week, I said. You sick? He asked. Just reorganizing, I said. He sucked on a toothpick. Reorganizing what? Priorities. He eyed me. That word usually means trouble. Could, I said. Or it means I'm done being flexible. Same difference. By the following Friday, she had added a new trick, humor at my expense with her coworkers around. We were at a happy hour the clinic hosted in a downtown lounge. I don't like lounges. They sound like air filters, and the music is always 3 notches off from conversation. She introduced me to a cluster of people I'd never met. This is Ethan, she announced. He builds things and thinks everything can be fixed with a hammer. One of the younger guys laughed too hard. I shook his hand. I also use levels in math, I told him. Don't let the hammer hear you. It gets jealous. The group tittered. My wife rolled her eyes. He's kidding. He's very old school. Translation, I said, I show up when I say I will. Her coworker Maya chirped, we need that energy in marketing. You need a calendar. I answered, then sipped my club soda. That's when I saw the new variable. She loved the audience. She turned to me with a knowing little smile. You okay? She asked, syrupy, loud enough for them all. I'm watching you perform, I said, trying to decide if I should throw a tomato. The group chuckled. She colored a quick flash. Maya backpedaled into shop talk, and the moment passed. I'd planted a seed. I wasn't a prop. When we left, she was quiet until we hit the street. That was rude, she said. What was? I asked. You embarrassed me in front of my team. You opened the show, I replied. If you don't want banter, don't start. She folded her arms. You could have taken the high road. I installed the road, I said. You're welcome to use it. She looked at me like she didn't recognize the blueprint. That was phase 1 of my initiative. Stop being the permanent net she'd bounce jokes off. Phase 2 was time and space. I started leaving the house at 6 and getting to the shop before anyone else. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb from 9 p.m. on. If she texted late, she'd get me at sunrise. That week, she pinged me at 11:48 p.m. running over at Chloe's. Don't wait up. I didn't answer. In the morning, I read it with my coffee and went about my day. The first softening came right after that week of distance. Tuesday night, she showed up with a bakery box and a softer face. I grabbed your favorite, she said, setting the box on the counter. From the place on 3rd, I noted. How do you know I was home? The garage app snitched. She ignored the jab. I thought we could watch something. I opened the box. You thought we could sugar our way back. Can you not make everything a test? She asked, her tone practiced like a scale. It's not a test, I said. It's a pattern. People bring desserts when they've burned dinner. Her eyes flicked. I'm trying, Ethan. Trying at what? I asked. At being here? At not mocking me in front of Maya? At texting before midnight? Which effort should I applaud? She put both palms on the counter. You're not easy. I'm not easy because I finally set rules, I said. And suddenly, that's a problem. She softened further. I miss us. I miss us, too, I said. That's why I shrunk the variables. Dinner at home twice a week. Phones face down in a bowl and a hard stop at 10. You in? She blinked, then nodded a touch too quickly. Okay, good, I said. Starting tomorrow. For 2 days, she played along. She did dishes without commentary. She put her phone in the bowl. She even asked about the deck job with Caleb like she cared to hear the answer. I felt the string loosen in my chest, which tells you I still wanted this to work. That's the dangerous part. Hope makes a lousy guard dog. Thursday at 9 p.m., she checked her phone and announced, Maya's in a bind. I might swing by for an hour. She's prepping a pitch. It's 9 o'clock, I said. I know, she said. It's just tonight. The rule says no, I answered. It's work, she insisted. It's important. Why is it always important when you want to break the rule? I asked. And never important to keep it when it's mine? She grabbed her purse and tried to smile. I won't be long. Stay as long as you want, I said, moving the bowl of phones to the side. I'm going to bed. Tomorrow, I'm on the early shift. If you're late, don't wake me. Use the guest room. The smile flickered. Seriously? Seriously, I said. Pick a lane. She left. Midnight ping. I didn't answer. She came in quiet and used the guest room like I told her to. In the morning, she was honey again, making eggs. Breakfast? She asked. I'm good, I said, grabbing a thermos. We'll catch up Sunday. Why Sunday? She asked. I'm booked, I said. Shop. Then a round of cards with the guys. I'll be scarce. She frowned. You're punishing me. I'm building a weekend, I said. You're welcome to ask for a seat at the table. That weekend, she asked to see her sister Scarlett on Saturday night. I told her, take the car. I'd Uber. She declined, took a taxi. I watched her through the front window like a man casually noticing the weather. After she left, I showered, put on jeans and a gray hoodie, and called Noah. You still have that tracker phone we use for supply runs? I asked. Yeah. Mind if I borrow it tonight? He whistled low. You okay? I'm verifying a schedule, I said. He didn't press. He swung by, handed me the phone, nodded like he didn't want the details. You're the calmest I've seen a guy in your position. Emotion is expensive, I said. Information is cheaper. I ordered a rideshare and set the destination as Chloe's on the app just to see the route. Then I canceled, waited 5 minutes, ordered another, and asked the driver to follow the taxi 4 cars ahead. He was a talker. I tipped him before we got going so he'd save the commentary. You ever tail someone before? He asked. Only bad habits, I said. We moved through neighborhoods that looked the same at night. Porches lit, dogs annoyed, the occasional jogger making deals with their heart. The taxi turned downtown, then cut toward a strip of restaurants near the river. I didn't react. I watched. The taxi stopped in front of a mid-priced place with a patio. My wife got out. A man in a blazer stood from a table and waved. She walked straight to him, no searching glance, like they'd done this 6 times and fine-tuned the timing. He hugged her. She hugged back like it wasn't their first rehearsal. My driver glanced in the mirror. You want me to stop? He asked. Keep rolling, I said, then swing around and park on the side street. I took 2 photos from the sidewalk shadow, the hug, the hand on her lower back, the whisper near her ear. Plain, not dramatic, no staging. The truth doesn't need a monologue. I sent the photos to my own email, then to a folder I'd created with a bland name. Done. Good enough? My driver asked. Good enough, I said. Home, please. On the ride back, I didn't think about the man or his blazer. I thought about my plan. Step 1, stop explaining. Step 2, create distance without fireworks. Step 3, handle the paperwork quietly. I got home, sat at the dining table, and wrote a list. Move savings to secure account. Done. Pause joint credit card for new purchases. Done. Change autopay on my truck and the shop utilities. Done. Call my cousin Leo, who does family paperwork for a living, to draft a clean set of forms that didn't drag the thing into theater. Scheduled for Monday. I slept like a man who has a map. Sunday morning, she floated through the kitchen humming. Want to go for a walk later? She asked. Got to head to the shop, I said. We're behind on a backsplash. I can help, she offered. Too light. You don't like grout, I said. And you hate dust. She pouted a little. We should do something fun. We should, I said. Pick Thursday. We'll go to the farmer's market. She brightened. Monday, I met Leo for coffee. He slid a manila folder across the table and didn't ask questions. He's family. He just raised an eyebrow. You sure? Sure enough, I said. I want it straightforward. No circus. You want me on call? No, I said. I want it handled. Quietly. He tapped the folder. This is clean. Good, I said. I'm not here to win. I'm here to end. I took the folder to my office at the shop, locked it in a drawer, and went back to measurements. No one on my crew noticed anything. Men noticed fresh paint, not stale air. The second softening hit midweek. She met me at the shop at lunch with takeout and a smile that could pass code inspection. I was in the neighborhood, she said. Thought I'd bring you something. Noah lifted his brows and retreated to the lumber rack. She walked in like a guest who had read the room. She looked around at the saws and tool chests and said, "It smells like cedar and coffee in here." I like it. That's because that's what it is, I said. She put the takeout on my workbench. Sit with me. I sat. She asked about the crew, about the Detroit job, about Noah's kid. She had her phone in her bag and kept it there. I watched the performance and gave it just enough applause to be polite. I miss us, she repeated softly. We've been in the same house, I said. If someone's missing, it's not both of us. She looked down. I know I've been distant. That's one word, I said. I'm trying to fix it, she said. Please meet me halfway. I changed rules, I replied. That was my half. The other half is your half. I can do that, she said quickly. Prove it, I said. Tonight, no late runs. No, Maya needs me. You and me on the couch, and we actually talk. She nodded. Deal. She kept it. We watched a show, and she laughed in the right places. She curled her feet under her, careful, like she was trying to remember how we fit. It felt almost normal. At 10, she kissed my temple and said, "Thank you." I nodded. Didn't move. I've learned that when someone is selling you normal, wait for the invoice. The invoice arrived 2 days later. Stamped urgent. I was at the shop early when my phone buzzed with her text. Staying at my sister's tonight. She needs help with some home stuff. Don't wait up. I stared at the message. I pictured the restaurant. The hand on her back. The way she didn't scan the room. Home stuff was a cute phrase. I called her sister Scarlett before my coffee went cold. Scarlett answered on the third ring. Hey Ethan. Morning, I said. You ready for the cavalry? What cavalry? Your sister's. She said she's staying at your place to help with home stuff. Silence, then a small sigh. I'm guessing she didn't expect you to call. I'm guessing a lot lately, I said. Ethan, she said, voice softer. She's not here, and I don't need help. Thought so, I said. I'm sorry, she said. I hate this. I appreciate you not lying, I said. Are you free for breakfast tomorrow? A beat. You want me to be there when she gets home? Yes, I said. I want it quiet, and I want it over. Can you make it at 8? I'll be there, she said. Do you need anything? A witness, I said. And your ability to sit still. I can do both, she said. Ethan, you okay? I'm fine, I said. I have a plan. I hung up and went to work like it was any Wednesday. At lunch, I opened the locked drawer, checked the manila folder, and added a new sheet, a simple inventory of what was mine before, what we bought together, and what I didn't care about. When a man has control, he doesn't need to take every lamp. He takes his dignity and the things with his initials on them. I printed 2 copies of the photos from the restaurant and tucked them in the folder, not to wave in anyone's face, just to close the loop. That night, she texted twice. Running late at Scarlett's. And don't wait up. I replied with nothing. I slept well. At 7:45 a.m., Scarlett knocked. I poured her coffee in a plain mug. She sat at the dining table with her hands around the cup and didn't make small talk. She's going to be a mess, she said. Then she gets to learn, I answered. I'll keep it clean. At 8:15, the garage pinged. The door opened, then closed. I heard keys on the entry table, and a bag dropped to the floor. She walked in, saw Scarlett, and froze. What? What are you doing here? She asked her sister. Scarlett took a sip of coffee and didn't answer. I came out of the kitchen with a second mug. You're early, I said. How is helping your sister? She swallowed. Before you build a story, I said, if you want the truth to have a chance, sit down. She looked at Scarlett, then at me. She sat. Her hands shook, but she kept them in her lap like she could hide the tremor. I know, I told her. I've known for a while. I didn't want a scene. I wanted clarity. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No sound. Scarlett stared at the table. I followed you one night, I went on, matter of fact. I have a photo or two. Not because I enjoy photography, because I wanted to stop guessing. Her eyes filled. She shifted her gaze to Scarlett, then back to me. I'm sorry, she whispered. If apologies fix structure, I said, I'd carry a bag of them to every job site. She put one hand on the table. We can talk about this. No, I said evenly. We won't. She went quiet. Since you understand where we are, I continued, do me a favor. Grab that folder on the console and sign what's inside. It's the one useful thing you can do today. She stared at me, then stood, walked to the console, and looked down at the folder like it might burn. She brought it back, opened it, saw the photos, and pressed her lips together. You can keep those, I said. Add them to your future scrapbook. She nodded once, a tiny motion, and found the signature line. She didn't argue over furniture. She didn't bargain about trips or timelines. She picked up the pen and signed where it asked. Silent tears ran down her face. She didn't wipe them. She closed the folder and pushed it back to me. I'm sorry, she said again, barely audible. I nodded. Don't worry, she looked up, confused at the calm. I mean it, I added steadily. Don't worry. Worry is for people who plan ahead. Scarlett set her mug down and stood without a word. She walked to the guest room and started gathering a duffel. My wife followed, moving like someone carrying a box labeled fragile that she should have packed months ago. I stood in the doorway and didn't supervise. They returned through the hall with a suitcase and a tote. She picked up her keys, then put them down, then picked them up again like she needed something to do with her hands. Do you need anything else? I asked. She shook her head. No. Then go with your sister, I said. She'll get you where you need to be. She looked around our kitchen like it was an exhibit she was leaving. Ethan, don't. You made your choices, I said, not unkindly. I made mine. She whispered one word. Please. Please, what? I asked. She had no answer. She carried her bag to the front door. Scarlett opened it. The morning was bright. Neighbors would be out soon, walking dogs, living their unremarkable lives. She hesitated on the threshold. Last thing, I said. She turned. I don't hate you, I told her. I'm just done giving you access. Her chin dipped. She went out. Scarlett gave me a brief nod, respect, relief, both, and followed her to the driveway. They loaded the bags into Scarlett's sedan. The engine started, backed out, and left. I shut the door. The house made a new sound. Silence with integrity. If you expected me to fall apart, you haven't been listening. I'm not made of glass. I'm also not made of stone. I leaned on the counter and let the last 9 years organize themselves into a lesson. Then I got up, made a list, and started living it. First, I called Leo and told him the folder was signed. He said he'd handle the rest. Second, I texted Noah. I'm in all week. Put me on every estimate you can. He replied with a thumbs up, and 5 minutes later, 3 addresses. Third, I took her name off the autopay for the utilities, updated the insurance, and reset the garage code entirely. Then I went to the shop and worked until 7 because work is honest. It pays you exactly what you put in. It doesn't flirt with your patience. That first week alone, I slept hard and woke early. I said yes to a Saturday ride with my buddy David. He's a paramedic who speaks in 3-word sentences and means all of them. We took a loop out of town and back, stopped for breakfast at a diner where the eggs arrive fast, and the coffee is industrial. He didn't ask details. He just looked at me and said, "You good?" "I'm useful," I said. He nodded. That counts. At the shop, I started training a new guy, a kid with decent hands and no attention span. I taught him how to measure twice, cut once, and keep his mouth shut when clients talk. In the evenings, I played cards on the back patio with a small circle of men who know the value of silence. We didn't toast to new beginnings. We dealt. We talked about busted faucets, playoff odds, and whether you can trust a neighbor who paints his house in winter. The answer is no. Word got around in our circle that I was single. I didn't post a manifesto. I didn't burn anything. I didn't perform for the internet. Scarlett texted me exactly once. "Thank you for keeping it clean." I replied, "Thank you for showing up." She left it there. As for my ex, she didn't contest anything. She moved into a rental across town. I heard from a mutual friend that the man from the restaurant was less reliable than his blazer looked. Shocking. She messaged me once. Just wanted to say I'm sorry again. And I didn't answer. Not out of spite, out of completion. The house is mine now. In the way a space becomes yours when you hold your line. I kept the dining table and replaced the couch. I bought a used pickup for the crew and a heavy bag for the garage. Sundays, I drive to the river and walk the path with a coffee. Sometimes a woman with a golden retriever falls into step beside me, and we talk about nothing for a mile. If that turns into something, it'll be because we both respect the rules, not because one of us needs a net. Do I still hurt? Some mornings, yes. It shows up when I find one of her hair ties in a drawer or see a receipt with her handwriting. And remember, I used to love the loop on her G's. Pain is part of the bill, but I'm glad I followed that taxi. I'm glad I wrote the list and moved the money and told her to sign. Living in fog is worse than breathing clean air that stings. People ask how I stayed so calm. Here's the answer. I decided early that my job wasn't to convince her. It was to respect myself. I enforced rules and didn't lecture. When she pushed, I shifted the logistics. When she lied, I made a breakfast appointment. When it was time, I handed her a pen. Now I work more. I see my friends more. I eat better than I did when I waited up for cold dinners. The shop is having its best year. Not because I'm punishing myself with hours, but because focus is cheaper than stress. There's a woman I met through a client. She runs a small landscaping team, knows the names of trees, and shows up when she says she will. We've had coffee twice. We kept it simple. We laughed about a busted sprinkler valve like it was a Greek tragedy. She told me she respects direct people. I told her I only speak that language now. I don't tell this story for sympathy. I tell it because there's a moment when a man realizes the room he built is no longer his. You can rant, or you can reframe the door. I chose the door. I closed it behind me. And the quiet on the other side doesn't ask for anything you can't give. What do you think about this story?